Good morning, folks. My name is Haider. I'm the CEO of Bayut. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the first edition of the Bayut Big Broker event today. We planned this event to provide a platform to all thought leaders in our industry to come together and share their experiences and talk about the issues that plague us as an industry. And where do we go from here? How can we resolve those issues? My talk today is going to focus on my perspective on the industry and how things have been, and what Bayut has done and is going to continue to do to actually take the bar to a new level. But before we do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about the event, right? We planned the event. This is not a one-off event. This is going to be an annual event. And next year, it is my promise to you that we're going to make it twice the size. And in the entire day, we're going to be busy over here talking about the issues and how we're going to resolve those and truly, truly make a difference. We at Bayut are all about making a difference, and we want to make everybody's life easier. Before I go and talk about the main topic of the talk, I would just like to take a slight detour and talk about the Bayut story. So I moved here in 2014. I've been in Dubai for a little over 5 years. Before that, I got my degree in electrical engineering from the University of Texas at Austin. And I spent 15 years in the US working at some amazing tech companies, solving some really, really cool challenges. And what I realized was that technology is an enabler. It makes lives easy. And it lets you scale. It lets you scale, right? If you look at any of the platforms that exist today, they have such a huge reach. They touch so many lives. So technology is truly changing our lives. And as someone said, you know, it is the gold rush of this era. In this last 5 years, we've had a fantastic journey. When I came to the office, it says 5, but there were about 3 people. We're over 200. And you know, I'm very proud to announce today that we have the largest number of clients of any portal in the country today. We're at 1,075, and we're growing. We're growing. We're not the first ones to the market. We surely have left them behind. And this we've done in the last 4 years. And the next 4 years, I don't think we would need even a rearview mirror. Along the way, we have raised $160 million US from some of the top funds, VC funds, and we have every intention of deploying that to solve challenges. Very recently, we announced the acquisition of Lamudi Middle East that we acquired from Rocket Internet, and that we're going to use to expand further into the GCC. We're going to take Bayut and we're going to make it a regional brand. It's going to be one brand that's going to serve the GCC. And as I said, we're going to take every penny of that money that we've raised and we're going to invest it in our industry. So I believe this is a good segue into what I actually want to talk about today, which is our industry. And this is my perspective. This is Bayut's perspective on things. So if you look at the word industry, what is our industry? To me, it's 2 simple words: real estate. You can say property market, real estate. That's our industry, right? So if we think about our industry, or if we think about any industry for that matter, what makes an industry? Typically, you have consumers and producers. In our industry, the consumers are the renters, the buyers, the investors, and the producers are the landlords, the developers, you know, if they're building residential or commercial, doesn't really matter. And everything else exists in between to service these. You know, this whole green sphere over here is all of us. You know, if you're a broker, if you're a portal, if you're a regulatory body, if you're a mortgage broker, you're a construction company, you're an architect, we all exist in the middle. And if you look at this, what do you think is the most important element over here? I think it clearly is the consumers, right? Because if the consumers don't exist, there is no need for a product, and there's no industry. As an example, if you build, let's say you build a villa community of 8 bedrooms, and the consumers can only afford 2 bedrooms, Well, you don't have a market. You've built the wrong product. So when we look at the industry, we at Bayut, when we look at the industry, and we say, okay, what challenges are we really trying to solve? We have to solve fundamentally the problem of the consumers. That is the main challenge. We have to make their lives easier, right? So let's look at what is the problem of the consumer. The consumer is over here and wants to get over there. So once they've established the intent that they want to rent or buy a property, they want to cover that gap as quickly and as smoothly as possible. But there are a lot of touch points in between, right? And I haven't listed all of them, but I've listed a few. There's property portals, there's the agents and brokers, you guys, government bodies for registering paperwork, and so on and so forth. Do you really think the consumer actually cares about any of these? No, they don't, right? When you've made up your mind, you want something, you just want that, right? And everything else exists to get you to that place. Now, it could be a smooth journey, it could be a rough journey, but what you really, really care about is getting what you want to get as fast as possible in as straight a path as possible. So this is if you really, what the point I'm trying to make over here is, if you look at this, what's really going on is that from the consumer's perspective, we all are the same, right? So if they have a good experience, everybody's good. If they have a bad experience, everybody's bad. I don't think it's this, that, or that. It's just you have a sour experience, and you remember that. So our job really is to make that process as smooth as possible, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, and how we can continue to partner with you guys and the other touch points to make that journey as smooth as possible, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the journey of a consumer. What do they go through? And you can break this down into many different phases. I just wanted to keep it simple, so I've actually put it down into kind of roughly 4 phases. So the first one is discovery, right? So once you've established the intent that you want to buy or rent a property, you want to go through the discovery phase. The discovery phase is you're going to educate yourself about what are the areas, what kind of properties are available, where do you want to go and live, what do you want to do, where do you want to stay, where, do they have activities for kids, are the schools nearby, and so on and so forth. Once you've done that, then you go through a selection process where you're going to look through a portfolio of properties and narrow down to a few that you actually want to go and perhaps make an offer for. And that's when you get into the negotiations, and that's where you guys come in and help them bridge the gap between the buyer and the seller, and so on and so forth, and finally you have a deal. Okay, now you must notice that there are 2 colors over here. There's a green color, and then there's a teal color, or blue color. And the green color is Bayut, okay? So we meet the user very early in their journey, at the discovery, and help them with the selection, okay? And then it's over to you guys. So there's a very important handshake that happens at this point. When we generate a lead for you, we are taking something that we've helped the user discover whatever they were looking for, and they're generating an inquiry. So we have a valuable prized possession that we're actually handing over to you. So there's a lot of trust that's required when that handshake happens. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the discovery and what discovery today looks like at Bayut. So, we've been, while I'm presenting this today, we talk about this almost on a daily basis on how we can further improve these things. But what we have today is, on the discovery, the very basic function is property search. They need to be able to go and find the properties they're looking for. We have the most advanced index. It is not a simple average of property prices that most other people have. We have the largest collection of community guides. It's 10-folds more than anybody. We have trends which show you which areas within, or which sub-communities within a community are trending. And then finally, we have My Bayut, which is our blog. It is the largest real estate blog and lifestyle blog. It is in English and it's in Arabic because we cater to all walks of life. We don't differentiate. And we have a very, very strong social presence. If you look at our following on any of the social platforms, we're the largest. So that's great, but it is in our DNA to ask a question, a fundamental question of what more can we do? What more can we do for the users, right? And As I said, we've always been asking ourselves this question all along. I've been here for 5 years. I ask that question every day, and we try to answer some of them. And so about a little over 2 years ago, we undertook an effort. We said, okay, you know what? Let's make some bold steps. One shortcoming we identified was that when users go and look at properties, they look through all the pictures, and that's great. You know, some of them might look through 360 videos, that's also great. But there's nothing that gives them a bird's eye perspective of the property. So where is the kitchen relative to the living room? Where is the living room relative to the bedroom? Which bedroom is facing which side, and so on and so forth. And then even if you do figure it out for one property, how do you compare multiple properties? So we undertook this effort, which was a large effort. We've been at it for 2 years. This kind of shows you our commitment to really improving things, okay? We didn't want to talk about it because we wanted to have something to show for it. And I just want to talk a little bit about the magnitude of the effort. It has taken us 160,000 hours to put this together, which translates to 20,000 days, man-days, which translates to 77 man-years, okay? So what that means is, if somebody was born today, and we got them on this task, and they lived for 77 years, and this is all they did, this is what they would produce. And what is this? So we have been able to standardize all of the floor plans that exist, 40,000 of them, in a 2D and 3D format that lets you look at them and look at them in the same way. They are literally, you can compare that. I'm going to show you. This is launching next week, and you're going to have everything standardized. So soon after this, and we've already done the work for this, we are going to launch this, which is, it is going to let people walk through every property, every floor plan. Every single one, okay? And there's a lot more coming. Now, think about this. You can walk however you want. You can walk through any property, you know. Now, think about this from a discovery angle, right? We are going to let people identify the floor plans that they like, and then find the properties that match those floor plans. A lot of people go and look at properties and they identify a few floor plans that they actually like, but they never can find properties against that. Not only will they be able to do it without even visiting the property, but even after they visit the property, they can just come back on Bayut and they can find all the properties against those floor plans. And it has taken us a lot of effort to put this together just for the users. So, you know, that's fine. But as we were doing this, we were also asking, what else can we do? What can we do? And I think this next issue that I'd like to take head on is something that you're all familiar with, that we talk about a lot. And frankly, I mean, you know, there's been some progress, but not a complete solution on this. Who here is familiar with verified? Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about verified, right? Let's talk about what the user wants to see. The user wants to see properties that are genuine and are available. If you think about from a user's perspective, imagine you yourself are looking, you want to see a property that's there, that you know exists, and it's also available. Now, verified, which verifies the documents of the property, and perhaps the permission given by the landlord to market it, you know, you can do that through collecting the forms, or better yet, you can do it through the Tarhisi system, which is the land department's initiative. That's a fantastic initiative. But the simple question is, does it measure availability? No, it does not. Okay, so that's the problem, because you lose, if you show me a verified property and I go to it and it doesn't exist, you've just lost my trust. As a consumer, you have lost my trust. So what are we going to do about it? Very proud to announce, our motto is to solve problems through and through. We don't solve them halfway through. And so we have gone and we have coined this term, which we call True Check. And I believe this is going to revolutionize how people view properties, how people understand and build trust in agents. because this truly is going to help them find what is actually there and available. So how does this work? I'll just quickly walk you through it. So you can be at a property. You can open up your phone and you can select the property, or we will probably prompt you for the property. You can go and take a picture of the property, which is going to be time-stamped as well as geolocation stamped. So your location is going to be stamped as well as your time is going to be stamped. And we know that you, as the agent, visited this property. So you're going to submit it, we're going to do a QA check, and we're going to say this is true checked. The way it's going to show on Bayut is that we're going to show the listing and we're going to say this property was last visited by this agent on such and such date at so-and-so time. Okay, and clearly you can do this as frequently as you visit the property. And this builds trust. Now imagine what you've done for yourselves over here. You are showing somebody a property that says that it's visited by the agent on such and such date at such and such time. You've just built a lot of trust in you. Not us. This is your property, guys. You've built trust in you guys. And I fundamentally believe that the era of verified, while it adds value, is over. Because the era of TrueCheck is really here. And we are going to do everything in our capacity to help you get onboarded and adopt this, till the day that we have practices that don't need such things, frankly. Right? And hopefully one day will come when the whole industry just operates in this manner, and I think everything would be not needed. But in the meantime, we kind of have to build the steps to get to that place. Again, as I said, we talk about it every day, so I think it's okay if I talk about it 3-4 times here today, which is what more can we do? What more can we do for brokers? And I want to give you a little bit of context before I actually go into the next slide. So let's say I gave you a bag, right? And I didn't say anything. I just said, okay, here's a bag. Have it. And you're like, I don't know what's in it. But then I give you the same bag, and I say, okay, you know what? There's some sporting equipment in it. And you're like, okay, I kind of understand the intention of this guy. He's giving me a bag with some sports stuff in it. I still don't know what it is. But then I say, okay, here's the same bag, but there's a football kit in it. And show up at the ground, right? Now it's very clear. You have a lot more context of what that is. So keep that in mind. Keep the concept of the more you know, the more useful it is to you. So keep that in mind as I talk about this next slide. So the more you know, the more useful it is. So you want to be on the top right corner. The less you know, the less useful it is. And that's the bottom left corner. So when we started looking at this problem and we said, okay, you know what? How do we help out brokers on this one? And we said, let's look at the leads we share with them, right? What are we really giving them? So I'm going to walk through quickly each kind of lead that you get from portals. First one is the SMS lead, which we generate for you. Now, when you get an SMS, most likely there's a generic message there. I'm interested in blah, 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 blah property, reference XYZ. Please get in touch with me. What else do you know? Not even the name of the person that you're going to talk to. You have absolutely no clue who this is. Okay, fine. Well, better maybe is the phone call, because at least when the person calls, they might introduce themselves. They might say, okay, I'm Alex. Hi, I'm interested in such and such property. And you can have a conversation, right? That's fine. So it seems like it's a little bit more info, and it's a little bit more useful. We also provide a tracking solution, so you can actually get the call logged. And it's the same as a phone call, but the only advantage is, well, let's say you were busy and you just don't remember how that call went. You can go back and listen to the call and recollect. So it's not really giving you any more information, but it's a bit more useful because it's handy, right? And finally, there's the email lead. The email lead gives you two forms of contact. One is I can email this guy, the other one is I can call this guy. That's great, but you still, and perhaps some of the people, you can actually kind of make out their name from their email, and some of them are, if it's Lion King, well, good luck to you figuring that one out. But you can kind of get a little bit more info out of that. Now, all of this is happening even before you've talked to the client, or maybe this first conversation, right? But where is the intent of this user. How do you get to know this user better? What do you know about them? Nothing, right? This happens, unfortunately. Sometimes when people call, the first question they'll ask is, after the name is, what's your budget? Okay? Now, some people can take that offensively just because, are you trying to size me or my pocket? Are you trying to size your commission? It's usually not the right foot or the right step to start the relationship at. So we thought hard about this one. We've been collecting a lot of data in the back. I mean, obviously we have a lot of data in the back. We've been applying machine learning algorithms, and we're like, wouldn't it be nice if we actually gave the brokers some info about the lead before they actually engage with it, or perhaps even before the second engagement? So very proud to announce that we're introducing what we call our smart leads. Okay, so what are smart leads? So smart leads are really going to help you understand the intent of the user as you get a lead. We know what the user is doing on our portal, so we can figure out a lot of things. And we're going to tell you that generally this person is interested in, JBR Marina JLT, the budget is such and such, and 1 or 2 bedrooms. Now that gives that lead a lot more context. If you want to talk about quality, this is the information that you should be seeking. You should get this information because when you have the next discussion with the client, you will understand their perspective. You don't need to ask such things, or even if you do, you will know a lot better how to ask these questions. Again, I think this is not done anywhere that we've seen. We've worked very hard at it for the past year and a half, and we're very proud to announce that we're going to be launching this soon. So finally, what more can we do for all of us? And I do want to highlight one thing over here. Everything on the top is blue, right? Which is essentially that's the consumer's journey with you guys. And Bayut is kind of out of the picture a little bit. But I said, what can we do for all of us? Because as I said earlier on, if you succeed, we succeed. That our fate is tied together. This journey is just a singular journey. It's not multiple journeys. So we thought hard about this problem as well, and we said, okay, when you're at work and maybe things are not going as well, if you have a good manager, they're going to pull you aside in a one-on-one session, and they're going to share some feedback with you. The good ones will take that advice, do something with it. Some people will ignore it at their own peril, but at least you have that platform. And so we said, okay, what if we take the same approach and try to help the agents or the brokers? And do that by soliciting feedback throughout the journey from the client. Now, please, I want to be very clear on this one. This is not meant for anybody but you as an individual. Why? Because this is there to help you improve how you do business. It's nobody's business, I mean, obviously, other than the business you work in, but it's your job to improve yourself, right? So we are very happy that we're going to be introducing reviews. Now, we're going to solicit feedback from the clients and share that with you. Now, if you like that feedback, share it with the world. Put it on your Bayut profile, put it on your social profile, send it to your friends and family, share it with your colleagues. If it's constructive feedback, then look, guys, we have Bayut Academy. We've had Bayut Academy for the last 3 years. We don't charge for it. Why? Right? We're a business too, right? But we don't charge for it. And the very simple reason is because we're trying to add value back into the system. We have had hundreds of training sessions with thousands of people who have gone through learning how to make a phone call, how to initiate a call, what's the next step, how to deal with clients, how to deal with objections, how to close the gap, all of this, just to help you get better. And so we're going to continue to do that. But we really feel that if we can provide you feedback in a one-on-one environment, which is just between you and the user, I think it will help raise the level of service across the board. So this is back to the same slide, which is what a consumer goes through the discovery, through the selection, through the negotiation, through the deal, right? Which, as I said, some part of it is us, a lot of it is you guys, and we're introducing a lot of things to elevate the entire level of the journey up. As I said, it's a single journey. We all succeed, and we all fail together. And I'm very proud to announce that all of these things are going to be coming to you very soon in the Bayut Pro app. This app is built for you guys only. It's not for the consumers. It's just for the professionals. And we're going to do the simple stuff of, oh, okay, I need to listen to my call and all that. I need to take a note. We're going to give you the power of data in your hands. Everything from verifying the authenticity and availability of a property to accessing floor plans, sending them off to your users, to the very fact that you can actually get a lot more insights backed by data on the lead itself, and finally guide you through the journey with the consumer. That's our commitment to you guys. Because we feel, again, and I'm going to emphasize this point over and over again, that when you succeed, we succeed. So that's all I had today. But I do really want to thank you all for coming today. This is the first of very many of these events that we're going to hold. And this kind of sets the tone for what we want to do with this. We really want to raise the level of the entire industry. That is our commitment to the industry and all its players. There's going to be a lot of other great speakers after me, so please hang around, listen to them. And there's some fantastic panelists towards the end. These people have gotten to where they've gotten to by putting in a lot of hard work. As they say, 99% is execution. These guys have built very successful businesses purely through that, day in, day out. So for the new ones, people who are trying to professionally develop yourselves, hang around, listen to these guys, learn from them, and hopefully, one day, you will be up here as well. Thank you very much.